This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. The next part of this job over here at the apartments is dealing with all this mud in here. So look at all this mud that's landing all in this area. And here we have a bunch of drains in here. You can see this concrete patch where they have added them after the fact. There's a clean out right there as well. And there's a couple other drains down here. And so one of the things they asked me to do was to fix all this mud that was landing down here. And so you can see this is now standing back here and looking this way. And all the gutters are piped. There's a drain pipe right there. You can't really see it too well, but it's right there. And so what I ended up doing here was I pressure washed out here. So I didn't take any video of me pressure washing. This was a really big project with multiple parts to it, so I was kind of freaking out and trying to get everything done. So I got the pressure washing done. There's a couple of drains right there. Both of those were flowing really well. There's another drain, and there's this retaining wall for a point of reference in the stairs. And these were all flowing. I got them all pressure washed with a jetter hose out. Everything was looking really good. And so take a look at this wall right here. So we're going to be coming back to that. So there's my pressure washed finished product right there. And there's another drain that was cleared out. And these drains are flowing too. Alright, so let's take a look at the rest of this job. So what we've got going on here is we've got this bank. And it's covered in riprap and pine needles. And all the mud just comes down through here and just lands all over here. So I spent all day yesterday power washing this and getting these drains cleared out. So they're all clear, it's all flowing. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to dig out these pieces of riprap, pull the pine needles back, and staple some soil stabilization fabric on here and put a coconut roll across here. Try to get that sediment to stay in there instead of washing through. So that's this next part of the project. Yeah. So we want to put it all across along the bed. The mud is obviously coming from this hill area and running down through those railroad ties with that retaining wall. So my idea here, my plan is to dig out a trench along the sidewalk and along the retaining wall, get rid of that riprap, and put in some coconut roll, and then also just line the whole area with soil stabilization fabric. And the idea here is to try to keep the sediment and the mud in this natural area and keep it from washing off down onto that walkway. And so that's what we're working on now. We're trying to get everything prepped, get all this organic matter, pine needles, and the riprap out of the way, and get the 2 trenches dug along the edges. We're digging up this riprap, and I just found a worm snake. We're digging in this hill, and I just found a 5-line skink. So he's trying to bite me there.
So you got 5 lines on him?
Yep.
I got you.
So
Really?
they have bright blue tails when they're little.
I saw a baby one the other day at Sound Lake. That's really cool.
Yep. But we'll get him relocated.
I've always thought them little jokers would bite you, so I've left them alone.
No, I mean, he was biting me, but they can't hurt you.
That's just like a little green lizard.
Yep. This is some type of a sphesid wasp, probably a mud dabber. But what the female does, and she's doing here, is she paralyzes a prey item, in this case a caterpillar, and she'll haul that away to a safe house and cache it somewhere. And she lays eggs in it, and the eggs will emerge, and the larva will consume the still living but paralyzed caterpillar. And the larva will preferentially choose body parts that don't require the thing to stay alive. And so they'll eat it until it pretty much can't live anymore. So that was kind of an interesting find. And here I scared her away, but she'll find it again. But that's called a parasitoid. That's their feeding habit, is a parasitoid.
I feel like we should do that, like the log roll. We should just jump on top of it, Ronald.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Take this into the outdoor games.
Okay.
I don't think it needs to be that exact. All right, let's lay her out. See how we did.
What happened to the old ice cream truck? Did they not run in these neighborhoods no more like they did when we was kids? Remember that?
Yep.
Old Chester come on with that little ice cream machine going. I'm gonna get you the freeze pop. Push up. Eddie Murphy burger. You know what I'm talking about? Lynn, you heard it before?
We had those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab some staples.
Okay. Hey, you know where they are?
Yeah.
I do too.
Here we're just trying to get this soil stabilization fabric stapled down really well. So we use a bunch of staples all around the perimeter and out in the middle of it as well to get it held down. All right, we're getting this soil stabilization fabric on here, and we've got our coconut roll along here.
Pull it back up toward.
So we should be in pretty good shape for keeping this mud off of here now that I've got it all clean. As far as putting the landscaping back, all we're really doing here is pretty much just spreading the riprap out somewhat uniform across this soil stabilization fabric. And then once we get that all laid out, we're just going to throw the pine needles back over top of it, and it should be ready for the next time they put new pine needles out in the springtime. So we just got everything pretty much back together and looking decent. This is where we did our coconut roll. So let's see how that looks. It's been at least two and a half months. So they were getting all the mud that was washing down here and clogging up the existing drain. So there's a coconut roll right there. And look at that. There's no mud. Wow, that's crazy. Look at that. There's a little bit down here. Huh, so maybe we should put a little piece of coconut roll across here too. But that's pretty cool. Look at that, that coconut roll really worked. Alright, nice. This is that same picture again, so you can see what it looked like before. So that coconut roll and soil stabilization fabric really worked. This was a challenging part of this overall job, was dealing with that mud down there. When that mud would get wet, it would be very, very slippery, and all the residents were complaining about it. And so you can see where they had thrown some riprap along that retaining wall. That's a classic drainage maneuver, is throw riprap and pile riprap in there and hope it solves it. But that coconut roll and that soil stabilization fabric really seem to have done the trick. It's been about 3 months, I guess, since we did that work, and you saw that there's just no mud anymore. I do think I will go and add maybe like a 2 foot section of coconut roll to the other side of the stairs because there's a little bit of mud coming through there. But overall, I'm really, really pleased with how this job came out. So I didn't get quite as much good video as I normally do with this one. And the reason is because I was just running around in different places and different buildings trying to get everything done. So didn't quite have as much time with the camera. But I do appreciate you all watching this video. Thanks.